Hi. I'm Maggie.
Our feature tonight has a BA in theater from Marywood University. This is her third solo show in as many years. Her other shows are Off the Beaten Path from the 2009 Me Festival and Roll With It in the 2010 New York City Frigid Theatre Festival. She is a frequent performer at the New York City MOTH Story Slams and has told stories on stage at the Bitter End, the Nuyorican Poets Cafe, Housing Works, and SouthPaw in Brooklyn. The producer of the MOTH senior producer, describes her as, she tells powerful stories. She is angry, she is funny, and sometimes I'm afraid of her. I can always count on her to keep me on the edge of my seat. Put your hands together and give her lots of inspired word love. Your feature tonight is Maggie Nuttall.
Hi. I'm Maggie. They're my friends.
She's my friend.
I got on the A train to go home early one night, and as the doors closed behind me and I looked up from my iPod, I saw these two guys fixing to start a fight. And this one guy was yelling at this other guy that was twice his size. And I knew right away that there was something wrong with this guy. You know, he had hair on his face in all the wrong places. He was all misshapen, and he had glasses that had tape and paper clips on them, and he expelled some sort of odor. And he was screaming at this guy that was twice his size. And the only way I could describe it is a diarrhea of cursing. Holy shit, motherfucker, asshole, motherfucker! Holy shit, motherfucker, asshole, motherfucker! It kept going on like that, and the guy he was screaming at just kind of backed away as if to say, he's like, I've nothing to do with this motherfucker. And meanwhile, I moved all the way down to the other end of the car, and I'm holding my iPod in my hand, marveling at the technology, playing a quick game of solitaire, and listening to some music, having a good time by myself, and then this crazy guy comes all the way down and sits next to me, and he taps me on the shoulder. You gotta turn the music down, you're playing it too loud, you gotta turn it down! So as I bent down to acquiesce to his request, he gets up and he lunges at me and he grabs me by the throat and starts strangling me. Now, I scream, naturally. Now, ladies and gentlemen, should you ever find yourself in a position when you are being physically assaulted, I highly recommend screaming. Because not only does it bring forth the adrenaline and the endorphins, it also alerts the other passengers of the car to your particular predicament. And in my case, I was being strangled. And ladies and gentlemen, the citizens of New York reacted beautifully. They did. Citizens from Harlem, Washington Heights, and the Bronx, a whole phalanx of gigantic children came thundering towards my rescue. And these are kids from your own hometown. You see them all the time. You take them for granted, you do. They wear the clothes that are way too big for them, you know. They have the tattoos on the arms, and they have the designs in the hair, and the metal in the mouth, and when there's a chill outside, they wear this thing called a hoodie. Oh, yeah. And one of the children loomed over the crazy man who all of a sudden became very apologetic. I'm so shit like that. You picked on a lady! You picked on a lady, she is our sister! And this is when I got really emotional. Because I just started looking around and I just realized I'm surrounded by all these relatives that I had no idea. You gotta understand what was happening. One moment, I am being strangled. And the next moment, I am now the leader of a frenzied mob. Just say the word, lady, I'll kill him now! How cool is that? But the full impact of what happened on that train really didn't hit me, because when he had his arms and when he had his hands around my throat and he smashed my head against the wall, I was still stunned. So when I got home and I looked in the mirror, there were these two huge handprints on my neck, and they were fat fingers surrounded by red, and they were on my pulsating jugular vein. The people that rescued me that night were people that are always taken for granted. You don't see them on TV, they're not pretty, they don't make a lot of money, but they're the ones that rescued me, and I will be forever grateful. Still get on the train. You know why? Because I'm not a quitter. That's why. Gym class picked months the last for that inevitable game of kickball. And I'm standing here on the asphalt of Robert Morris School in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and I'm feeling safe out here in left field because the ball never comes here. And then the ball does come here. And it bounces right in front of me, and I've done nothing. Game over, game lost, gym class over, and I'm on my way back to the building. And this 9-year-old girl gets right up into my face. She's got black eyes, black curls, and her freckles are all in the right place. And she yells at me the way only a 9-year-old kid could. You could have tried! We still could have lost, but at least you could have tried! Now this memory burns deep in my marrow of my brain. And it makes me look back on my family history, which is a little peculiar. See, my grandfather came from Manchester, England, and he went to university, spoke 3 languages fluently, and he was a concert-trained pianist. And though I never heard him play, I've heard from people all around me often say that any time he played a piece, he played as if his heart were on the keys. And he can play anything and make it a transcendental experience. But at the age of 32, he quit performing in public. He took all that talent, all that capability, moved to Scranton, Pennsylvania, and bought a rug dyeing factory, turned a strange color yellow, and then died. Now, during the course of his life, he had 4 children, and he tested each one for that magic, intangible, perfect pitch. And he discovered this in his daughter, my aunt, and she became an opera singer, a mezzo-soprano extraordinaire. She had powerful sexual energy beyond compare because she was under the tutelage of Rosa Ponselle. And for those of you who don't know opera, that means my aunt sings very, very well. But at the age of 32, she quit performing and eventually moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and died. Now, musical talent tends to skip a generation, but that didn't deter me at all to move here to New York City to pursue an acting career! Yeah! It is to be of the Brechtian kind! Where you perform all the spaces on the page between the lines, using other people's words to change the world! Yes! But at the age of 32, I quit performing too. And a few years ago, I was woken up in the middle of the night by a 9-year-old girl screaming at me. "You could have tried!" Who are you to speak to me this way? I did my best. I moved to New York City. I was in a bunch of Broadway plays. I did improv for 2 years. I did my best. "You did not try hard enough," she said. And that's when I woke up, and I was in a really bad mood. So I went online to find out what she did with her life that was so great that she had to wake me up in the middle of the night. This 9-year-old little ingrate. And then I discovered that she had died many years ago. A rare disease snuck into her blood and snuffed her out. She barely made it to 20 years of age. Well, I'm not dead yet. So a few years ago, I started going back up on stage as myself this time. And I've been telling stories in comedy clubs and backs of bars and restaurants and theaters. Any stage kind enough to have me. And when I die and I cross that Rubicon to the great beyond, should I chance upon that 9-year-old girl again, she'd say, "Hey, I see you tried." Now, when I started telling stories, a very strange thing started happening. A bunch of stories ganged up on me and started tugging at my pant leg. You know, "Tell me next, tell me next, tell me next, tell me next," they seemed to say to me. And they've been gathering around me, they've been coming after me. So, I've come out tonight to tell you stories live here on stage.